We'll call this meeting of the Silver City Town Council to order. Please rise and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If I could ask Councillor Biddison to read our mission.
Okay. Silver City is the hub of an inclusive community settled within a small town that, through guided growth, honors and preserves its historical, cultural, and natural heritage while facilitating jobs, health, and educational resources such that the residents and visitors may enjoy and protect the recreational opportunities of the area and high quality of life.
Thank you. First item on the agenda is a proclamation, Wild Wild West Pro Rodeo Week, May 29th to June 4th, 2011. Pat, anybody else here to receive this, come to the front. Whereas this will be the 21st annual Wild Wild West Pro Rodeo held in Silver City, Grant County, New Mexico, and whereas the Wild Wild West Pro Rodeo reflects the Western heritage and history of Silver City, and whereas the Wild Wild West Pro Rodeo will attract local, regional, and international participants and is in the turquoise circuit, and whereas the Wild Wild West Pro Rodeo is an important step in the process of improving the economic viability of New Mexico in the sporting world. Now, therefore, I, James R. Marshall, Mayor of the Town of Silver City, Grant County, New Mexico, in view of the inherent value of this, do hereby proclaim May 29th through June 4th, 2011 as Wild Wild West Pro Rodeo Week, and urge all citizens to attend and enjoy the rodeo. Thank you.
I want to say that I really appreciate the support that the city has given us through the years. You guys were there from the time we started, and couldn't get it done without people like you. Appreciate it. Thanks.
I always look forward to reading that one and trying not to get my tongue tied. The next item on the agenda is public input. I remind you have 5 minutes to speak, and I will try to give you a 1-minute warning if you're looking at me. And the person that signed up is Alan Mung, and he's going to discuss neighborhood issues as a wrap-up of last time you talked.
Yes, I'm Alan Mong, and just some comments about fire restrictions. And first of all, I want to say thanks, because the last time I was here to talk about the four-wheeler dirt bike situation up in Starsky Ridge or Ursa Major has gotten better. You know, Ed gave me a call and we talked about it. I did have to call last week because there were 2 four-wheelers going up and down the Little Walnut side, and so I called about that. But it has gotten better, not as many as there were. I noticed in the paper this weekend that somebody had thrown a cigarette, out the window up in PA, and they called it a roster fire just on Sunday and threw a cigarette out the window. There was an ordinance. Somebody was cited the other day for burning weeds out in Arenas Valley. A bunch of us are going camping at City of Rocks this weekend, and I called yesterday to double check, and they said, yes, there is stage 2 restrictions, because I thought, it's okay, there's no trees, but there's a lot of grasslands. So we can only use a propane stove, that's it. No campfire, no charcoal. So it's crazy to me that a four-wheeler could ride on private property and up there and not be cited because they're breaking the law. I mean, a hot muffler, anything could cause a fire easily. But yet a gentleman in Arenas Valley was cited for burning weeds in a barrel. So just that kind of comment. And then it makes no sense to me that there's extreme fire danger in the Gila and can't have a campfire or charcoal at City of Rocks, but there might be possibly fireworks. So I know you're going to discuss that later. I just wanted to put in those comments. It's kind of crazy to me. It doesn't seem like there's a real balance as far as the fire restrictions go. So thank you for your time.
Thanks, Al. Next item on the agenda is council comments. Councilor Moronis, would you like to start?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. First, I'd like to congratulate Main Street for winning the Great American Main Street Award up in Des Moines, Iowa this week. Congratulations to Nick Seibel, the current manager, and Frank Milan, the past manager, to really help, and all the past work of all the past managers of our Silver City Main Street project for making this a successful program. That's it, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thanks. Councilor Ray.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a few comments. I talked to Mr. Alex Brown concerning a possible study for a sewer project on the Mountview Road, as some of the houses there, or most of the houses there, are on septic tank. Also, I talked to Mr. Brown about having a study on Ridge Road with a new detention center going on in construction. There are some parts of the road that are pretty well beaten, and possibly rethinking of the speed limits there on Bridge Road. That's just about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you want to respond, Dave? Do you want to respond?
No, other than that I've started talking to Robert and Peter. There are some opportunities for the sewer line extension, especially with some new funding that just became available through the Environment Department. So that's one possibility that we're looking at. And also, Peter and I have started working on the Ridge Road, looking at that. And I hadn't talked to the chief, so now he knows about the speed limit. Okay.
Thanks. Councilor Thompson.
Thanks. Had a kind of a rough meeting with the Parks and Rec group. I think they're having some difficulty with feeling like they're forwarding their main agenda, and their agenda. It's really hard to go through that meeting because I truly respect the folks that are on that board. And they are interested in Parks and Recs beyond just what we usually think of recreation. I think that they understand that public space is the place that we learn to be comfortable with strangers. It's the place where we develop the sort of trust that you need to have a robust economy. It's kind of fundamental to how we learn how to interact with one another. And I think they really want to forward that idea, and public space being, I think, parks or open space or even neighborhood streets. But we really have not been very good at coming together and moving toward that. So it's been a lot of work. The other thing that we did this week was the bicycle rodeo at Walmart, and the city was there, the police were there, the fire department, Forest Service, and Gila Regional. And I was able to kind of sit back and kind of look at what was going on, and it seemed like we're kind of missing the point a little bit when I look at where the risk is with bicycle morbidity and mortality. I have a hard time seeing that a mistake of hand signals is really that critical. It seems like the two variables of most consequence is how fast are vehicles moving and the number of bicycles that are on the road. And so it seems to me that as a group, we ought to be really focusing on those two things more than the bicycle rodeos. I'm not really sure what all those things do other than make us feel good that we're doing something. But that's it.
Thanks. Councilor Bettis.
I just want to reiterate, Councilor Moronis, congratulations to Main Street on winning the Great American Main Street Award. They're one of 5 communities across the United States that won that this time. So I think it's outstanding. It's the first time I think a Main Street community in New Mexico has been awarded that, and so I'm really excited about it. And I also wanted to address something. I've had several emails regarding the construction or the mill and overlay on Highway 180, the town is not paying for the mill and overlay on Highway 180. That is a state project. Although the gross receipts from that, according to Mr. Brown, who I've talked with about the emails, the gross receipts, plus being able to piggyback and use the same contractor and be able to get, as you've reported in the past, and it was in the paper, being able to get the asphalt or being able to get the supplies, to use the same contractor. They're here in the area, everything all at once. With the gross receipts from the Highway 180 project are allowing us to pave that section of Pope Street with little to no cost to the town.
Well, it's an expense to the town, but we've got a revenue generator. In fact, I'll talk a little bit under my report and give you a schedule.
Thank you. I'd appreciate that, because there's been some questions about whether it would be completed for the Blues Festival as well. But I just want to make sure people know that the town is not paying for the Highway 180 repaving. It's really important people understand that.
In fact, they'll be back next week. The Pope Street project will be done Thursday, completed.
Great.
The overlay. They will be back. They should be finished either Tuesday or Thursday of next week here in town on the 180 project. They will go to Baird for approximately a week, and then they will come back into town, and they will be doing 180 West from that intersection with 14th Street, and they will go 4 miles out of town.
Wow.
So we'll get additional gross receipts for the part that's in town. And so they haven't touched 180 in years. I talked to Peter, we couldn't remember the last time that they did the mill and overlay. They've done Hudson, Highway 90, about 8 years ago, I believe, in town, and then they did about 5-6 years ago, they did from the Hudson Plaza out towards Lordsburg, but they haven't touched 180 until right now.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Is your microphone on?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, but I'm too far, I guess.
I think so. Anything else?
No, that's all. Thank you.
Anybody need round two?
No, sir.
I as well would like to congratulate Main Street on their award. And then, big swing from that topic, I had the honor to attend the welcoming home of Lance Corporal Juan Dominguez. He's from Deming, and he was wounded in Afghanistan. He's a triple amputee, and I just want to say, basically, Deming knows how to welcome their soldiers home, and it was quite impressive. And I hope we never have that opportunity to welcome a soldier home that's been wounded as severely as him. He's a very fine young man, and if we do, I hope this council and this town truly gets behind our soldiers and supports them. I attended and watched the movie The Economics of Happiness, which was quite interesting and definitely explored some different approaches from what I've been hearing lately. I've been working with Mr. Russell and Mr. Coates on doing a bicycle and pedestrian plan. They will be kicking that off very soon, and that plan is called for in our comprehensive plan, and we haven't done it. So we're going to do that. It'll be an open process, and we will solicit citizen input to that plan. So I hope people will participate and make sure that we come up with a productive plan that doesn't sit on a shelf and collect dust, but can actually get utilized. I appreciate both of your labors on getting to this point. And then congratulations to all the graduates of the high schools and the university and the Silver Softball for taking state champs. And with that, we'll move on. Any changes to the agenda? Hearing none. Approval of minutes of the special meeting of the Town Council May 6, 2011.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilors.
I move that we approve the minutes of the special meeting of May 6, 2011.
Is there a second?
Mr. Mayor, I second that motion as stated.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? There's a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the special meeting of the Town Council May 6, 2011. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Vote. The next item is approval of minutes of the regular meeting of the Town Council May 10th, 2011.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the regular meeting minutes of the Town Council on May 10th, 2011.
Mr. Mayor, I second it.
There's a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? There's a motion and a second. No further discussion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of the Town Council on May 10th, 2011. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is under reports. Do you have any reports?
I just have one. I just got back from the CDBG allocation meeting, and we submitted an application to do water line improvements in Chihuahua Hill. The request was for $469,000, and we were awarded the full amount. So, and what's also nice is we've already done all of the engineering, so all of that funds will go towards construction of the water lines, and we'll probably be getting on that right away because the engineering is 95% complete. We just need some final releases, and we'll be on our way.
We'll go on to the others.
Yeah.
You have anything, Chief? Mr. Russell. Next is a report and review of the statistics in relation to the contract agreement between the Town of Silver City and High Desert Humane Society by Heidi Sexton, President of the High Desert Humane Society. And I just say I had an opportunity and went up and got a tour of the Humane Society, and thank you, Heidi, for showing me around.
Thank you for coming, and thank you for allowing me to be here. Like he said, my name is Heidi Sexton, and I am the president of the High Desert Humane Society. And as you're aware, the Humane Society is a private New Mexico corporation, and we have an agreement with the Town of Silver City to provide care for animals that are impounded by the town, also to manage the fines, licensing, and vaccination records. Last year, when our agreement was up for renewal, I met with Mr. Brown and Chief Reynolds, and we made a change in the compensation for these services. What we did, I provided a little chart here. You guys have that? What we did was we took an average of the dogs and cats that were taken in from the Town of Silver City in 2007, 2008, and 2009, and we used that number to establish a base number. And I apologize, I meant to put that on your sheet and I didn't, but that base number was 515 dogs and 460 cats. And then at the end of the calendar year, if the amount of the intake animals went over that base number, then the town would pay an additional $20 per dog and $10 per cat above the established base amount. Part of the reason that we did this was we wanted to draw attention to the large and consistent numbers of animals coming through the animal shelter. Last year for 2010, the base number was 3 dogs below and 65 cats below the initial base number, which is good that it's gone down, although that's not very much. And even though 2010 was down, it was still up from 2009. And we'd really like to see a more steady decline in these numbers. The Humane Society does have an adoption rate of 30 to 45%, which is almost double the national average, but that still leaves an awful lot of unwanted animals to take care of. And the Humane Society provides about $20,000 a year in spay-and-neuter assistance. I know that SNAP provides almost the same amount, and other places like Puppy Dog Ranch have also provided some money. And I am hoping that with those numbers, knowing that that much is going into the community and that we're still having the high numbers of unwanted animals, that when the ordinances are coming up to be reviewed and revised, that we'll take a look at stricter spay and neuter regulations. Any questions?
No questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Community Access Television of Silver City Incorporated yearly report and update by Kendra Milligan, Cats Board President.
Mr. Mayor and Honorable Town Councilors, I'm Kendra Milligan. I'm with Community Access Television of Silver.
Can you speak up a little bit, Kendra?
I'm with Community Access Television of Silver. And I wanted to tell you that Community Access of Silver broadcasts 39,000 hours last year alone. So we've got a channel for you, Silver City. We have cable channel 17, which is public access, cable channel 18, educational, cable channel 19, government, which this meeting is being aired on, Coot low-powered channel 8, which is also public access, and Coot 88.1 FM, which is also a public access station. And I'd like to thank the town of Silver City and Grant County for offering and their continued support of our organization and Community Access Television. Our community pays for the privilege of having these stations, and it's through franchise fees collected through Comcast Cable. And I would like to thank the cable subscribers in our area for their contributions to Community Access Television, and I urge satellite subscribers to switch to a service like Comcast Cable that supports their community. Now I want to take one moment and introduce some of the people who are involved with CATS, so you know who's important in your community and you can grab them off the street and talk to them. We have Howard, which is my vice president of the board, Charles, who's also on the board, Lori Ford, who's on the board, our new office manager, Tanner, who answers the phone and does all the work. We have our consultant, Bill Waller, who's been very instrumental in making changes and will be helping us bring up the iNet, which is an information network in our community that was laid out several years ago and will allow for live broadcasts from this building and many other buildings in our community. And he's been working with Comcast Cable to get that iNetwork up and running. Currently, only one part of the iNetwork is running, and that's from the county jail to the judicial court building, I believe. Channel 7? And we also have Steve Solano, who is a lifetime member of CATS here as well. We're in a transitionary period right now. We have a new outlook and a new staff, and we're currently searching for an executive director of CATS. We've formed several committees, including a personnel, an operations, a relocation committee, even though the town is wonderful to offer us at a low rent offices above the municipal court, I believe, downtown at 213 North Bullard. We'd like to expand, and we've been asking the county to move us to the Business and Conference Center. And though that hasn't been voted on yet, we're hopeful. We also have an outreach and marketing committee, and we want to better reflect the unique community and culture we have here in Grant County, but we can only do this with the participation of our community. So we're working on ways to get the community to be better involved with CATS. And by doing this, as I said, we have the iNetwork, which Bill has told me in the next few weeks we will be actually switching so that we'll have it up and running at CATS, and we can bring these live to the community, these meetings, so everybody can see how exciting they are. And we also can help with emergency situations because we have so many multimedia. We have a better chance of reaching the community when we have disaster situations or emergencies. We can broadcast on the radio, a low-powered antenna TV channels for everybody who has a TV and an antenna, and on the cable channels. And we're working to have all those simultaneously broadcast in case there's another incident like the Quail Ridge Fire, and we can tell people where to go and where the disaster relief areas are. We've initiated contact with the Silver and Cobury school boards on the possibility of broadcasting the school board meetings. We've made contact with the Gila River Festival and the Grant County Extension Office on filming some of their community events for our educational channel and public access. And right now we're in a partnership with the Silver City Public Library and the Continental Trail Alliance. We've donated flip cameras to their backpack program, and anybody in Silver City can check out these backpacks. and make films of their hikes around Grant County for a compilation film that we're putting together on the community. And finally, this May, we're having our first annual membership month. We'll be at the Blues Fest, and we'll have memberships good till the end of the year, $10 for cats, $10 for Coot Radio, and $20 for both. We opened up all our classes this month to community members, and I'm happy to say we've had the highest rate of participation from the community that we've ever had in our trainings. Both were full, and we even had waiting lists. And finally, every month we'll have one training free and open to the community. And if we have more community participation, we'll see about opening more classes. And if you have any questions on the report I turned in, including a point-by-point on our memorandum of agreement with the town, I'll answer to the best of my abilities.
Any questions? Just comment. Thanks, Kendra. I am approving that we go live and broadcast live. So if anybody has issues with that sitting up here, you might want to get with me quick.
You still get breaks, right?
We do get breaks.
Okay.
Currently, we're
I just want to make sure.
currently we're slightly delayed on our broadcast from the meeting, and there is not editing, and it runs gavel to gavel. So we had a counselor at one time that liked some technical language that was probably not great for a family show, and that would get aired. So we would not have a chance. They will have somebody with a beat button, but he's going to have to be paying attention.
Yes, and for that would mean we'd have to have a full-time technician who can also fill in at odd hours and come in to hit the button on the delayed broadcast if necessary. But the franchise agreement is up for discussion right now with Comcast, and CATS would require more staff to have that kind of technical assistance available. So I would ask that the town consider that during their discussions with Comcast.
Just also note, there was legislation introduced this year that didn't go very far, but it was introduced in Santa Fe that would force all public meetings of public policy making bodies to live broadcast their meetings. So we're probably going to see it someday mandated. I don't have any opposition to it, so I think we can go forward with it, and we'll keep that in mind as we work on our agreements.
I'm sure the public will look forward to seeing the meetings live.
Thanks, Kendra.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is a public hearing entitled Approval Disapproval of Ordinance Number 1178, an ordinance for a map amendment zone change request number ZC 1102 from commercial to historic downtown commercial for property described as lots 3, 5, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and parts of lots 4, 6, and 8 of Block 9 of the Fraser Addition, and addressed as 413 South Texas Street, Silver City, New Mexico. The applicant is Kirsten Laney. The town council will serve as the hearing board, and I, as the mayor, will be the presiding officer. Have any members of this hearing board had ex parte discussion with any person regarding the subject matter of this hearing, or had any communication from any party to this case?
No.
You're all qualified. Will all parties and witnesses intending to testify, including those staff members who intend to present testimony or who will be available for questioning, please rise, come to the podium to be sworn in by the town clerk. If you have not been sworn, you will not be permitted to testify or otherwise participate in this hearing.
I, Louanne Mitchell,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that the testimony I am about to give
that the testimony I am about to give
in the matter before this council
in the matter before this council
is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth,
is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth,
under penalty of perjury.
under penalty of perjury.
The hearing will be conducted as follows. The town staff shall present a brief synopsis of the application based on the application or actions taken by the Director of Planning and Zoning Commission or by town staff. Then the applicant shall present their case. Next will come witnesses in support of the applicant's case. The applicant, the appellant, applicant, staff, or witnesses may then be questioned by the hearing board. The presiding officer will then ask the applicant if that concludes its case in chief, and states that the proponent and its witnesses will remain available to be further questioned by the hearing board, by staff, or by opponents to the application. Following the close of the applicant's case, witnesses in opposition to the applicant's case shall be permitted to testify, during the course of which the witness may address questions to any previous witness, but such questions shall be made through the presiding officer. The presiding officer shall have the sole discretion in directing the question for response, considering whether the question is relevant, is cumulative to other testimony, or is otherwise inappropriate. At the close of testimony against the application, the presiding officer will ask the applicant, is there anything else you wish to be reflected in the record? Luann?
Thank you. This is a request for a map amendment zone change from commercial to historic downtown commercial. The location is 413 South Texas Street, Silver City, Grant County, New Mexico. The applicant is Kirsten Laney, owner. The applicant is owner of property located at 413 South Texas Street. The property encompasses lots 3, 5, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and part of lots 4, 6, and 8 of Block 9 of the Fraser Addition. The property is located on Texas Street between Sonora and Gila Streets and is part of the Chihuahua Hill Historic District. The block is currently zoned commercial, a zone intended to accommodate a mix of commercial uses. It is a narrow strip of commercial zoning bounded on the east by an industrial zone and on the west by residential B. However, the neighborhood actually consists of mostly residential uses. With the adoption of the new Land Use and Zoning Code of 2010, a new zoning designation was created, the Historic Downtown Commercial District. This classification is intended to accommodate a mix of commercial uses, mixed-use buildings, and residential buildings in the historic central business core. It is likely that this block will be included in that new zoning designation when the new maps are drawn. The main reason for the zone change request is that even though zoned commercial, the actual use of the property is residential. There are 3 residential buildings on the property, and the surrounding buildings in the neighborhood are also all residential. One hardship for property owners in this situation is that residential uses are considered non-conforming in a commercial zone. Non-conforming uses have a number of restrictions, including the inability to expand, extend, or enlarge structures by more than 25%. The new zone designation will eliminate those restrictions. After departmental review of the application, the utilities, fire, police, engineering, meters, public works, and code enforcement departments had no comments. On May 3, 2011, the Planning and Zoning Commission held a public hearing during their regular meeting to hear this request. The Commission reviewed the application, deed, site plan, staff report, and other supporting documentation, along with sworn testimony given at the public hearing. The Commission found that the proposed amendment will not adversely impact the public health, safety, or general welfare, and will promote the original purposes of the Land Use Code. And further, the proposed amendment responds to changed conditions, such as changes in assumptions on capital investments, road locations, population trends, land committed to development, density, use, or further studies that have been completed since the adoption of the Land Use Code. These findings fulfill the requirements stated in Section 6.3.2 of the Land Use and Zoning Code of 2010. The Community Development Department contacted 31 neighboring property owners and received no responses, which was correct at the time I wrote this report, but late this afternoon I received 2 phone calls from Miss Accorda on Texas Street and Ruben Luera on Gila Street. Both of them were concerned that this zone change would also change the zoning of their property. And when I explained to them that it would not, that may happen later. And I asked if they had any objections, and Ms. Accorda had none. Mr. Luera said he was undecided at this point. The town council will apply and make relevant a minimum of one of the following findings to the request at hand. Number one, the proposed amendment is in substantial compliance or is not in substantial compliance with the town's comprehensive plan. Number two, the proposed amendment will not adversely affect the implementation of the goals and policies of the town's comprehensive plan, or it will adversely affect the implementation of the goals and policies of the town's comprehensive plan. Number three, the proposed amendment is justified in order to correct a mistake in the town's comprehensive plan, an error in the assumptions about the property, surrounding uses, population forecasts, rate of land consumption, or other factors. Number four, the proposed amendment will not adversely impact the public health, safety, or general welfare and will promote the original purposes of the Land Use Code, or it will adversely impact the public health, safety, or general welfare and will not promote the original purposes of the Land Use Code. Number five, the proposed amendment responds to changed conditions such as changes in assumptions or capital investments, road locations, population trends, land committed to development, density, use or further studies that have been completed since adoption of the Land Use Code, or does not respond to changed conditions. Number six, the proposed amendment is necessary in order to respond to state and or federal legislation. And finally, number seven, the proposed amendment provides additional flexibility in meeting the objectives of the Land Use Code without lowering the standards of the Land Use Code. The Community Development Department recommends approval of this map amendment zone change. And just to show you on the map, I know you can't see it very well, but it is, the property conserved is here. And as you can see, it's a very narrow strip of commercial with residential B, residential A, and industrial on either side. Any questions?
Any questions? It's your turn.
Thank you. I would really appreciate being able to have my house, which is residential and is, residentially used and has been residentially used historically, be zoned residential. It's pretty much that simple. Makes it a lot easier insurance-wise if I sell it. I just recently had a person who wanted to buy it, and the lender wanted to charge them a higher interest rate because of the zoning, and there's just lots of reasons why I think it should just be zoned in compatibility with its actual use. So,
questions? We have to address the issue that the application says residential, but the actual resolution or ordinance says commercial historic.
Right, but that, we have considered changing that to just historic district mixed use, because that's really what it's going to be. It include commercial uses, mixed uses, residential, and everything all in the one zone.
Mr. Mayor, Council, you may recall you did a similar project, 2 months ago, and what we did is we provided a letter to the owner to submit to the appraiser so that the appraiser knew that the new zoning category specifically allowed for residential use, and that in the instance that the applicant of the past had made his application for was residential use. And so the letter that we provided along with the new zoning designation was satisfactory to the appraiser and the lender to receive the lower rate. I hope I didn't stumble too much trying to explain that.
No, you did fine. Councilor Bettis.
At that same time, we also discussed the fact of dropping the commercial part of it and just calling it historic district with the mixed use, similar to what we'd done in the other, that I didn't catch this one when we were going through land use code, but I caught the other one. So, I think that that's something that needs to be addressed that would probably assist maybe a little more
Good.
I have had people come to me and say they're concerned about losing the commercial designation because it is a more...
Hold on.
I know it's beyond
It's
this.
irrelevant to this hearing. Let's address that at a later point. I don't want to get into a long discussion that interferes with our consideration for her request. My next question would be, are you satisfied with the recommendation coming before the council?
That it is, the zoning is changed to mixed, yes, or historic, commercially. Yes, because my house is historic, and just as long as I can not be restricted by the commercial aspect and have it be truly, be free to use it the way that it actually is and has been, and we hope will continue to be used, then I think that's ideal.
Thank you. Any questions for any of the witnesses? Do you have anything else you'd like to be reflected in your case?
I don't think so. I mean, I think that covers it. Thank you.
Any questions from the board?
No, sir.
Is the hearing board prepared to consider this application and render its decision?
Yes.
Yes.
Entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilor Rick.
I make a motion to approve ordinance number 1178, an ordinance for map amendment zone change request ZC 1102 from commercial to historic downtown commercial for property described as lots 3, 5, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and part of lots 4, 6, and 8 of Block 9 of the Fraser Addition, and addressed as 413 South Texas Street, Silver City, New Mexico. Applicant is Christian Laney, under the findings of number 2. The proposed amendment will not adversely affect the implementation of the goals and policies of the town's comprehensive plan, or it will adversely affect the implementation of the goals and policies of the town's comprehensive plan.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Mr. Mayor, I second that motion as stated.
There's a motion and a second to approve ordinance number 1178, an ordinance amending the town's official zoning map by rezoning from commercial to historic downtown commercial, lots 3, 5, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and parts of lots 4, 6, and 8 of Block 9 of the Fraser Survey, addressed as 413 South Texas Street in the town of Silver City, with finding number 2. Is there any discussion? There's a motion, a second, and no further discussion. Roll call.
Councilor Lawrence?
Aye.
Councilor Ray?
Aye.
Councilor Thompson?
Aye.
Councilor Vest?
Aye.
Motion carries, and that concludes this hearing. Congratulations. Next item on the agenda is approval, disapproval of special dispenser permit application for a benefit dinner, dance, and silent auction sponsored by SHA Gymkhana, license holder Hurley Bar, 102 Cortez, Hurley, New Mexico.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Kendra Young, and I'm organizing a benefit dinner, dance, and silent auction for the SHA Gymkhana. We are a nonprofit organization, completely volunteer for the youth of Grant County. We have participants from Grant County, Hidalgo County, even Doñana County, Luna County, and we're hoping to host this event in order to raise money to improve the quality of prizes for our participants, and it will be held at the Grant County Convention Center on June 17th. And so we're requesting approval of a special dispenser permit application for the event.
Any discussion? No discussion. Entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilor.
I make a motion to approve a special dispenser permit application for benefit dinner, dance, and silent auction sponsored by the SHA Gymkhana, license holder Hurley Bar, 102 Cortez, Hurley, New Mexico.
Is there a second?
Mike, second.
There's a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? There's a motion and a second to approve. No further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
There you go. Next item on the agenda is Planning and Zoning Commission's recommendation regarding fireworks safety education.
Mr. Mayor, honorable members of the Town Council, Mr. Manager, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Alice Jones, the chairman of the Planning and Zoning Commission, and I would like to bring a recommendation from the Commission for your consideration. To give you a little bit of background about what the Planning and Zoning Commission is up to now, pursuant to the powers that are granted to the Planning and Zoning Commission under Article 6, Section 6.1.1, Paragraph 3, to develop and recommend to the Town Council policies, ordinances, administrative procedures, and other means for carrying out plans in a coordinated and efficient manner, the Planning and Zoning Commission has instituted a series of monthly public forums to examine and study important issues facing the town of Silver City, therefore to generate possible recommendations to the Town Council. At its May 3rd, 2011 meeting, the Commission heard a report from representatives of the U.S. Forest Service and the Silver City Fire Department on the extreme fire hazard currently facing the community due to severe drought conditions in the area. A discussion ensued about the extraordinary danger that will be posed by any use of amateur fireworks, especially aerial displays, if community members indulge in their usual extended celebration of the 4th of July holiday. Silver City firefighter Eric Ray observed that although it is illegal to ignite such fireworks within the town limits under current ordinances, widespread violation of this ordinance makes enforcement virtually impossible. He noted that it is not possible to prohibit the sale of such fireworks. Based on that discussion, the Planning and Zoning Commission came up with the following recommendation. It was done on a motion made by Commissioner Kirst and seconded by Commissioner Lundy. The Commission recommends to the Town Council that the Council undertake extraordinary measures using all local media and other outreach efforts to educate the community about the extreme fire conditions and the extraordinary danger posed this year by any use of amateur fireworks. This motion passed unanimously. I'd be glad to take any questions from the Council.
Any questions? No. There's no questions, but you might want to hang around while we address the next item.
Very good, I will.
The next item on the agenda is approval disapproval of resolution number 2011-19, a resolution proclaiming a limited ban on the sale and use of fireworks. Mr. Lambert.
Mayor, council members, we're proposing resolution 2011-19. In previous meetings, according to Section 1851 of the municipal ordinances, the chief has declared a state of extreme drought and fire danger. This grants us the ability under New Mexico state law to ban the use and sale of specified fireworks. This resolution is to go through with that ban. To ban the sale and use of missile-type rockets, aerial spinners, helicopters, stick-type rockets, and ground audibles. Currently, those are the only fireworks that we can ban the sale and use of by New Mexico state law. We also would like to add the ignition of any other firework not specifically banned in paragraph 1 shall be limited to areas of paved or barren that do not present any fire danger to the person or the community. At this point, we feel that it's in the best interest of this community to ban the sale and use of these fireworks. I have had extensive discussions with the distributors in our area of fireworks. Several of them are not willing to even participate in sales this year. Most of them are restricting their own sales. We felt it would be in our best interest to move forward, proceed with the ban to the extent of our powers. I would be glad to entertain any questions.
Councilor Bedison.
Fire Marshal Lambert, on number 2, we have, it says, as you noted, that limited to areas that are paved or barren, but it doesn't give a dimension, because someone could point to the fact that a 1 foot by 1 foot square was paved and or barren. And I just wonder if maybe if we added some conditions, I think the county did something similar on the actual dimensions, so that, you know, neighboring properties, if you're in town, would feel safe if it wasn't a large enough of a barren spot or, you know, enough paved area. And I'm not sure if you have recommendations.
Actually, to address that, we're prepared to begin patrols for fireworks safety. Both our department, the police department, and code enforcement. We're prepared to do patrols to actually monitor that and inspect those areas in which there is ignition. And to do it on a case-by-case basis, based on whether they've actually got paved ground or just barren dirt, or what the case may be.
Okay, I think I'm just still a little bit concerned that it may not be as easy to enforce if you don't have a broad enough dimension. But that's just one of the things I thought about when I read it.
I would counter that I think this is the broadest. This, without having a specific dimension, allows a certain square footage that may be okay today to not be okay tomorrow because of higher winds, because of lower humidities. So I think this is very broad and is saying using common sense. But if you do property damage, you're going to be found guilty of something.
No, I agree. No, didn't say.
Any other questions?
I do have a question. If they propose to have a ban on the fireworks, is it going to be for another year or just for this year?
It actually stands for this year, for the sale period and ignition period listed in the city ordinances. Last year we actually passed the ordinance to shorten the time frame in which we allow sales and ignition, and it will cover that time frame. Okay. The rest of the year, they're not permitted to be ignited.
For next year?
Next year we'd have to address it separately.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Mr. Skevern.
A couple things. The record of this hearing should also include the prior testimony of the fire chief as to the extreme drought and the sources and the references and the research that he had done. So when you're considering this proclamation, you're also considering, as a basis for this proclamation, you're considering what Milo is saying, but also what has been previously stated to you, references to the Forest Service and to the comments made by Fire Chief Bencomo. The second thing is that the Commissioner Ray was referring to how long does this last. This is a 30-day proclamation. This proclamation is part of a cumulative effort on regulating fireworks. This does not supplant the existing powers of the fire chief, which he's already issued orders that ban the ignition of anything that produces an ash. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
So the language of this proclamation follows state law. And it's basically going to the sale, because the sale of fireworks is something jealously protected by the lobbyists in Santa Fe. So in dealing with the actual fire danger, the fire chief has the power to ban all ignition of anything that produces an ash. And it just so happens that a firework produces an ash. So it's included in the comprehensive ban on outdoor burning. This resolution does not lessen the fire chief's orders, nor does it get in the way of his future powers to declare more orders having to do with open flames in the town. Is there anything that you wanted to add to that?
No. Just that this resolution points towards the actual sales and bans them to the extent that we have the power to. The fire chief's ban on ignition and burning is comprehensive enough to cover the use of fireworks.
Councilor Bedison.
One comment before I make a motion. I just want to make sure that we also go out and talk to the folks that use fireworks as fundraisers. I know we have various groups that do that to make sure that, if this is passed, that they understand that, as well as the fire chief's orders, that stand, as well as our ordinance that was done several years ago. So.
The fireworks distributors, there's typically 2 in town, and there's several individuals that sell from the distributor for their fundraiser. I've spoken to both the distributors and I've spoken to the individuals that usually do the fundraisers.
Thank you.
I just comment real quick before you do that. The maps on the wall is a 80,000 plus acre wildfire that's burning just to the north of us. We all know what happened just to the south of us. I share an office building with Gary Benavides, the county's wildland fire manager, and I get to speak to him quite often. He has expressed on numerous occasions that the fire danger that we're in right now is more extreme than he has seen in his entire career, which he's retired from the Forest Service in the firefighting division. The fire behavior that they've witnessed is unlike any fire behavior that they've seen. The Miller fire, when it crossed the road and it actually went up through the wetlands area, which is down in the creek and it's very green, and it went up in flames like they couldn't imagine that it would do that. And I strongly support this. I think we owe it to all the citizens that we do our best to protect them from fire. And we do have an extreme condition right now that warrants this action. Councilor Bedison.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve Resolution number 2011-19, a resolution claiming a limited ban on the sale and use of fireworks pursuant to a finding of extreme and severe drought conditions within the town based on the previous testimony by Fire Chief Bencomo and today's testimony by Fire Marshal Lambert.
There's a motion and a second.
Second.
All right, there's a second now, Councilor Thompson. There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? There's a motion and a second. No further discussion. Roll call.
Councilor Edison?
Aye.
Councilor Thompson?
Aye.
Councilor Ray?
Abstain.
Abstain from voting?
You need, hold on. You need to justify why you are compelled to vote.
I think that people are going to do, they're going to do what they want to do, and I think that it's going to be a hard thing to partake on the fire department and the police department also. those are my feelings.
You're still compelled to vote by holding the office. So we need to have a yes or no vote.
I'll vote no.
Councilor Morotas.
Aye.
And the motion carries.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move for a short break.
Is there a second?
I'll second
Motion second for a short break. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We're in recess.
And
Remember, it's gavel, gavel, baby.
We'll call this meeting back to order. Next item on the agenda is approval, disapproval of bid number 10/11-13 homeowner rehabilitation.
Mayor and Council, the town received two bids for bid 10/11-13 homeowner rehabilitation, one from G, J, and L Construction out of Anthony, the second from Chavez Plastering and Cement Construction out of Silver City. It's staff's recommendation to award the bid to G, J, and L Construction out of Anthony for a total amount of $27,573.90. One of the bidders was a local bidder, so we did apply the 5% preferential requirement for the local, but still they were not the low bidder with that applied.
Thanks. Questions?
Sorry.
Councilor Morona.
Where's this located?
This one,
Yeah, I'll figure that out too.
Mike.
we don't usually publicize the.
Oh, I just want to know what district it was in.
It's on the back.
Is it?
Yeah, up at the top, the back one. The way at the top.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Councilor Bedison.
Just a quick question. I noticed a significant difference between the two bidders on the labor costs, and I came to the conclusion, is that because of the shortened time to completion that one of them had?
That's basically what we assume.
Okay.
Because one was a 90-day construction,
Right.
the higher bid is a 30-day construction, and the 90 days was within the grant time frame, so there was no, and so we could go with the lower bid.
Thank you.
Any discussion? Entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve bid number 10/11-13 with staff's recommendation of GJ&L Construction, Inc. for a total plus GRT of $27,573.90.
Mr. Mayor, I second the motion as stated.
There's a motion and a second to accept staff recommendation. Any discussion? There's a motion and a second. No further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Get that. The motion carries 3-1. Next item on the agenda.
I did that wrong. That's an aye.
Does the council object if Councilor Thompson changes his vote?
No.
No objection.
Sorry.
Let the record reflect that all councilors voted in the affirmative in support of the motion. The next item on the agenda is bid 10/11-14.
Mayor and Council, again, the town received two bids for bid 10/11-14. Again, from G, J, and L Construction, as well as Chavez Plastering and Cement Construction. The low bid was G, J, and L Construction. Again, we applied the 5% preferential price to Chavez Construction, but again, GJ and L Construction was the low bidder. So it's staff's recommendation to award the bid to GJ and L Construction for a total bid price of $31,836.69.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilor.
I move that we approve bid number 10/11-14 homeowner rehabilitation to staff's recommendation of G, J, and L construction for a total plus GRT of $31,836.69.
Mr. Mayor, I second that motion as stated.
There's a motion and a second to accept staff recommendation. Any discussion? There's a motion and a second. No further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is bid 10/11-15 fuel services. Mr. Brown.
Mayor and Council, the town received one bid from W&N Enterprises, DBA Snappy Mart, for bid 10/11-15 for fuel services. Diesel at 13 cents above over rack, unleaded gasoline 31 cents over rack, unleaded plus gasoline 31 cents over rack, unleaded supreme 31 cents over rack. It's staff's recommendation to award the bid to W&N Enterprises Inc., DBA Snappy Mart, with the caveat that we verify rack price periodically.
That was my question: is how do we check rack price?
We will ask that information for them to show it to us.
And if we're going to the pumps, does it get adjusted on the invoice?
Yes.
On the outside? Or?
That's how the current ones with the current company that we're with. There's times that we have to go to the regular pump, and it is adjusted on the invoices.
Is this the way the current bid is over rack?
Yes.
And you've been comfortable in verifying rack and?
Well, we haven't really verified rack before, but it was considerably less than what the price is at the pump.
Mr. Scarvin, do you have a question?
I think that in your motion, you should direct the town manager to verify rack monthly.
I have a question.
Councilor Benson.
My question is about the monthly, Councilor Scarvin, just because I think rack's been changing pretty rapidly, and I think, isn't it dependent on when they actually buy the gas? Or is it what the rack is at that given time? I mean,
the concept of rack is the mystery presented to the consumer, including this town. And when the hearings on gas prices were held by the State Attorney General, came down and did a presentation, there were some participants here, and nobody talked very much about rack, how rack prices were determined, how often they changed, who had access to know what those rack prices are. At this time, if we're dealing with a bid that is based upon a rack price, it's only fair that we have access to know what that rack price is, to verify whether this is whether the contract provisions are being complied with. So I don't know we don't know enough about how rack prices are set, when they're set or adjusted. Perhaps just giving the authority to the town manager, or the direction to the town manager, to, at his discretion, to request backup documentation as to rack price, to be able to verify compliance with this contract.
because, looking at this, my concern, the way I read it is that I was wondering if they were thinking that it was when they put the bid in, because the bid must remain firm for a period of 30 days from bid opening, if they were just considering the rack price right when they were bidding on this.
No, the rack price adjusts.
It does. Oh, right.
So it would be,
What remains firm is the 31
The pricing
The
of
pricing
rack.
above rack.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, now I'm really confused.
So if you want to approve this bid, you would move to approve it with the direction to the town manager to verify rack price at his discretion.
I understand that part of it. I'm struggling with what Councilor Bettison just brought up, that the bid must remain firm for a period of 30 days from bid opening. Does that mean that 13 and 31 cents can change?
They can't withdraw these change change them.
Within
They don't
that 30.
change. That would remain, because you would be awarding the bid. It's giving you time to award the bid and make these numbers final.
That makes sense. And I do think it's a good idea that we get some verification on the rack. And it's nothing against the vendor. I think they would probably be just as puzzled as to how that rack price is developed as we are. But I think it is a good idea and do due diligence in verifying the rack price so that we ensure compliance and checks and balance on tax money. Any other discussion? Entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve bid number 10/11-15 fuel services to the staff's recommendation of W&N Enterprises Incorporated, DBA Snappy Mart, with diesel at 13 cents over rack, unleaded gasoline at 31 cents over rack, unleaded plus gasoline 31 cents over rack, sorry, unleaded supreme gasoline at 31 cents over rack, with the direction to the town manager to verify rack prices at his discretion.
Mr. Mayor, I second it.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? There's a motion and a second. No further discussion to approve bid 10/11-15 fuel services to W&N Enterprises, DBA Snappy Mart, as recommended by staff, with direction to the town manager to verify the rack price at your discretion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is approval, disapproval of addendum number 1 to the July 1st, 2010 to June 30th, 2012 agreement between the town of Silver City and the Fraternal Order of Police, Silver City Police Officers Association. Mr. Brown.
Mayor and Council, per the Police Officers Association contract, it does allow for the annual negotiation for money matters, and we sat down and negotiated, and it's my recommendation to award them a 4% pay increase effective July 1. And that's already included in the budget that I'm presenting to you.
Thank you. Any discussion? I'm very happy that we're in a position that we can offer them an increase. I definitely think it's due.
Over the last couple of years, I do want to say that we've got 3 unions: ASME, police, and then fire, and then we have the exempt employees. Every one of those groups of employees has been very helpful in working with us to get through these hard times, and I am going to be negotiating with the fire department, because we don't actually have a current agreement with them right now. So in July, we're going to start with them. There is no such ability to negotiate with ASME for their contract. But I would like to look at the exempt employees as well, because they've only received one pay increase in the last 4 years. But that is going to be dependent on when I get more comfortable with the revenue numbers. When I get more comfortable with the revenue numbers, I'll come back with something a recommendation for the exempt employees.
Any discussion? Entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilor Ray.
I move to approval of addendum number 1 to the July 1, 2010 to July 30, 2012 agreement between the Town of Silver City and the Fraternal Order of Police Officers Association, or AAN. The 4% salary increase.
Is there a second?
Mr. Mayor, I second that motion.
There's a motion and a second. Just clarification, I believe the dates in the motion should be July 1, 2010 to June 30, 2012.
Right, okay.
Any discussion? There's a motion and a second. No further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is approval, disapproval of resolution number 2011-18, a resolution regarding sanitary sewer rates. Mr. Brown.
Mayor and Council, over the last couple times that I've made budget presentations to you for fiscal year 2012, I did mention that we were looking at the water sewer rates, and per the ordinance governing the sewer and wastewater rates, I have to annually review and ensure that the rate that is being charged covers the operational. The base rate covers the debt service that pertains to sewer and wastewater operations. The sewer rate must cover the operational costs of the sewer department, and the wastewater rate should cover the operational cost of the wastewater treatment plant. So we do, I did say that it looked like we were going to have to raise rates for both sewer and wastewater. The resolution that you have in front of you would amend the rates. The one thing is that since I did send you this resolution with Appendix A, which increases both the sewer and wastewater rates, I did go back and re-review everything, and we finally realized that the septic receiving station, which was built a few years back, which operates at the wastewater treatment plant and increases operational costs at the wastewater treatment plant, we are not charging any fees for the dumping of the septic out there. So it's my recommendation that we increase the sewer rates, that Appendix A be amended to reflect the increase to wastewater, to the sewer rate, but amend the wastewater rate from $1.86 per 1,000 gallons back to $1.80, which it currently is. And that I come to you at our next council meeting with an ordinance imposing an increase to the septic receiving station, which is, I was looking about 1 to 2 cents per gallon that we receive, and that would actually cover the same increase that I was looking at for the wastewater increase. So basically, the average bill would go up. 6,000 gallons is the average bill. We would see a 5 cents per 1,000 gallons. So we'd see a 30-cent increase to the average sewer bill.
Council.
I am completely confused right now. Because I don't understand. I'm completely confused because we have the rates that are in front of us. Was both the consumptive rate and the wastewater rate changed on the rates that are in front of us in Appendix A that you've presented, or just the wastewater rate?
It was both of them.
Okay.
Because originally the consumptive, which is the sewer rate,
okay,
currently it is 97 cents per 1,000 gallons.
Right.
Proposing to increase it to $1.02 per 1,000 gallons.
Right, so it's 5 cents
That's 5 cents
per 1,000
per
gallons.
1,000 gallons.
Okay.
No, yes, per
Yes.
1,000 gallons. The wastewater rate currently is $1.80 per 1,000 gallons. And I was going to recommend to increase that to $1.86. But if we go this other route, it's my recommendation that we change that number back to $1.80, which it currently is.
So would you rather that we table this until the next, or
No,
to go
no.
forward with the change that
No,
you're
you just
suggesting?
amend the appendix.
Amend the appendix. Okay, just wait, I want to make sure I'm clear.
Anything else? Any other questions? Councilor Ray?
You did say about 30 cents more
Per month
per month
to the average user.
for the people.
Yes.
Thank you.
And I am going to bring an ordinance that would impose a fee for the septic receiving station at the wastewater treatment plant, which would make up for make up the increase that we need at the wastewater treatment plant.
Councilor Morones?
The 30 cents is based on the 5 cent increase. If would that be basically a little over 60 cents if that other motion doesn't go through in a month or so?
Yes.
Okay, so up this motion could bring us up to 60 plus cents per month.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it could, if it's not amended.
If it's not amended.
Yes.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve resolution number 2011-18, a resolution regarding sanitary sewer rates with an amendment to the wastewater rate in Appendix A to from $1.86 to $1.80.
Yes.
Is there a second?
I second it.
There's a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2011-18, resolution regarding sanitary sewer rates with an amendment to Appendix A, changing the wastewater rate to 180. Any other discussion?
Councilor Benson?
Yes? Aye. I didn't know.
Councilor Thompson?
Aye.
Councilor May?
Aye.
Councilor Morales?
Aye.
Motion carries. Sorry about that.
I know what you're going to say.
The next item on the agenda is approval, disapproval of resolution number 2011-17, approval of preliminary budget for fiscal year 2011-2012. Mr. Brown.
Mayor and Council, over the last few months, I've made 2 presentations to the Town Council on the proposed budget. The last presentation that I made to you at the last council meeting is basically what I'm presenting to you with a couple of changes. The 2 changes are that I did increase the gross receipts revenue projections, so that did affect the general fund, the water sewer fund, the sanitation fund, and the public safety fund. And that revenue projection was increased because of the realized revenues that we have been seeing have been a lot higher than I thought they were going to be. So I'm a lot more confident that next year's revenues will be stronger than what I have projected. The second difference is that I did include $120,000 for some work at the old landfill. We've been working with the Environment Department for the last couple of years on the methane issue and the positive tests that we've been receiving, getting at some of our monitoring well. And I have found that that monitoring well was in the middle of the trash. So we're just going to, we have some work to move that out, resurvey the boundary lines, do some new venting, and that approximately $120,000 is a one-time cost. So that won't be a recurring cost. In fact, the work that we would be doing would actually decrease the amount of monitoring that we would have to do on an annual basis, because everybody's going to be a lot more comfortable with what's happening out there. Other than that, do you have any questions? or would like me to go over? Because here's, you got the summarized version, here's the budget. If you want me to.
Councilor Bedison.
Were you able to put in suggestion by Councilor Morones that I kind of also, that would be the third change for
Yes,
the...
that was one additional position was added. If that's the route that we go, it's in the budget already.
For the marketing and...
For marketing, yes.
Yeah, for the town.
If we did. It's in the budget. I'm going to wait for your direction on how we proceed with it.
And it's not in the budget to come out of lodger's tax.
That's right. It's actually out of general water, sewer, and sanitation because it's marketing the town.
Questions?
So the $250,000 that I said was going to be available for award by the town council for lodger's tax is still there. We didn't decrease it by anything.
Questions? Comments? Councilor Bedison.
You know, I just want to really commend the town manager and his staff for the ability to do this. I actually had someone say to me the other day, I was at a dinner, and they said, you know, I don't really watch the town council meetings very much because they're boring. And I said, well, what do you mean they're boring? And they said, well, there's nobody complaining about the fact that the town doesn't have any money. And I said, that's because we have a very good town manager and staff that, and the council that work together to ensure that we have funds and that we're not placed in the position that other municipalities have been placed in. But I have to tell you, I thought that was really enlightening, that that's the reason why it was boring, because nobody was arguing about money.
I'll accept that. The other is, I just hope DFA believes your budget, because it's not going to resemble many towns around this state.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we can back it up with our revenues that we've actually been realizing. I do want to, you know, I'm going to have to do a budget adjustment to add the grant, CDBG grant that we just received. But that one finding that we've had because of going negative on a reimbursable grant, still nobody at DFA knows what the heck they're talking about. So our finding to me is still not really it was a way of trying to find something wrong that wasn't really there.
We're still working on that.
Yes, we are.
Any other discussion? Councilor Morones.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve resolution number 2011-17, approval of preliminary budget for fiscal year 2011-2012.
Is there a second?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilor Bedison.
I second the motion as stated.
There's a motion, a second, to approve Resolution 2011-17, approval of preliminary budget for fiscal year 2011-2012. Any discussion? There's a motion, a second, no further discussion. Roll call, please.
Councilor Mays?
Aye.
Councilor Wright?
Aye.
Councilor Thompson?
Aye.
Councilor Bedison?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is approval, disapproval of the rescheduling or cancellation of the regular town council meeting scheduled for June 14th, 2011. And I put that there for two reasons. One is I've got to be in D.C. 14th. Councilor Bedison has an out-of-town meeting on the 15th. And if this room is available on the 13th, maybe we could move it up one day.
If it's not available, then I'll try the annex.
If it's not available, yeah, we'll look for other options. If the council agrees to this. Any discussion?
I'm fine.
Entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Ray.
I move to approve rescheduling of the regular town council meeting schedule for June 14, 2011. And maybe if our facilities are available for June the 13th.
Councilor Rose.
Mr. Mayor, I second that motion as stated.
There's a motion and a second to reschedule the town council meeting normally scheduled for June 14th, 2011 to June 13th, 2011.
If neither place is available, do you want to have a second choice date or cancel the meeting?
If the council would, just if we could amend the motion, just authorize me to work with the clerk in finding a date and time, making sure business doesn't get dropped.
The only thing that I have scheduled right now is that new ordinance for the, as of right now, just so you know. But that's putting it off a week wouldn't affect the implementation of it.
So if we moved it up to the previous week,
that would be fine too.
Are you suggesting Tuesday? Because I know that I could not do it on Friday.
I'm not suggesting. I'm worried about notice on both ends. One is the public notice we have to give that we're considering the ordinance.
It would be an NOI, so it would be the regular public notice we give for any agenda item.
So if we moved it up, it wouldn't affect anything.
If we move it up, it actually helps because we do the NOI and then we can get the notice for the ordinance.
And adopt the ordinance at the next regular meeting.
Yeah. Which is faster than if we would wait a week.
Yeah. That's true.
Let's consider doing the Tuesday before.
I'm available. June 7th. I believe that's the P&Z Commission meeting night. It's the first Tuesday of every month in this room. So they've got...
Same time?
I don't know if their meetings are at 6 or 7, but it's in the evening. What time?
7?
7.
Can we be out of here in an hour?
If you and I can work together on it, I can get more defined dates tomorrow after I talk to the counties.
If we could amend the motion to just add mayor's prerogative on rescheduling the meeting due to available dates. Okay, friendly. So there is now a motion to approve the rescheduling of the regular town council meeting scheduled for June 14th to the 13th, or a date as called by the mayor. Good. Yes, sir. Good. Any discussion? There's a motion, a second, no further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Ta-da.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilor.
I move for adjournment.
Is there a second?
I second it.
There's a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned.